As October neared its end, Ellie found herself in a peculiar situation. She'd always been a logical person, dismissing superstitions and the mystique around fortune-telling. But this October was different. Strange things had been happening. Objects seemed to shift places, numbers kept appearing, and there was a distinct feeling that she was being led somewhere, she just didn't know where. One evening, after another long day at work, Ellie decided to unwind by walking through the city. She passed by an old bookstore she'd never noticed before. The sign above the door read, "Mystics Myths, Books to Guide Your Path." She found herself intrigued. The air had a particular chill, and the dim lights inside beckoned her. She shrugged and stepped inside. The smell of old paper and incense hit her as she entered. Shelves lined the walls, filled with worn tomes on everything from ancient mythology to astrology. At the far end of the store sat an elderly woman, her eyes barely visible beneath a cloud of gray hair. The woman gave a slight smile and motioned for Ellie to come closer. "Welcome, dear. You seem troubled," the woman said, her voice soft yet oddly powerful. "I sense you're looking for something." Ellie chuckled nervously. "I'm not sure if I'm looking for anything specific. Just curious." The woman nodded knowingly. Curiosity is often the first sign of being led by fate. You see, October's end is a powerful time. A period of transition, of secrets coming to light. But to guide you through it, you'll need something special. She reached under the counter and pulled out a small, leather-bound book. Its cover was embossed with a simple phrase, "5 fortunate numbers, what's this?" Ellie asked, inspecting the book. "Consider it a guide," the woman replied. "These numbers will help you understand and navigate what lies ahead. Each one holds a meaning, a gift or a warning. Pay close attention." Ellie paid for the book and thanked the woman, who gave her a cryptic smile. As she left the store, Ellie couldn't help but feel she was stepping into something much bigger than herself. She opened the book and read the first number, 1. Number 3, a call for balance. The first entry read, "The number 3 represents balance and harmony. As you encounter this number, remember to consider your relationships and seek peace within them." The next day, Ellie was invited to her family's Sunday brunch. She hadn't been to a family gathering in weeks and was nervous about seeing her sister, Karen. They'd had a falling out over a trivial misunderstanding and hadn't spoken since. But as she dressed that morning, she kept seeing the number 3. The time on her clock read 9:03, her coffee order came to exactly $3.03. Everywhere she looked it was 3. When she arrived, her mother immediately noticed the tension between her and Karen. "Girls," her mother said, looking back and forth between them, "life's too short. Let's find balance today." As she took her seat, Ellie remembered the entry in the book. The number 3 was a reminder to restore harmony. With a deep breath, she turned to Karen. "I'm sorry. I don't even remember what started our argument, but I'd like for us to move past it." Karen smiled, relief evident on her face. "Me too, Ellie. I missed you." They hugged, and Ellie felt a strange warmth. A sense that things were back in balance, too. Number 7, a time of introspection. The following week, Ellie continued reading the book. The next number was 7, symbolizing introspection and personal reflection. The book advised her to spend time in solitude to seek clarity on unresolved matters in her life. Ellie had been ignoring her own ambitions for too long, too caught up in the everyday hustle of her 9-to-5 job. That evening, she took a walk to a secluded park she used to visit as a teenager. She found an empty bench, and as she sat there, a flood of memories washed over her. Reflecting on her choices, she realized she had abandoned her dream of becoming an artist. She'd once had a passion for painting, but she'd pushed it aside, telling herself there wasn't time for such frivolous pursuits. With the number 7 guiding her, Ellie felt it was time to revisit this old dream. She promised herself she'd pick up a paintbrush again, even if only as a hobby. That night, she ordered a canvas and paints, feeling more at peace than she had in years. 3. Number 9, the end of a chapter. The next number was 9, the number of completion, often signaling the end of a chapter. According to the book, this number would help her recognize what she needed to let go of. As Ellie pondered this, she received a phone call from an old friend, Jason. They'd drifted apart over the years, but he was suddenly back in her life, asking to catch up. They met for coffee, but the meeting felt strained. Jason spoke of his wild lifestyle, one that Ellie no longer related to. Later, as she walked home, she saw a street sign with the number 9 plastered on it. She realized it was time to let go of relationships that no longer served her. She wished Jason well but decided to focus on building connections that aligned more with her current self. Sometimes, letting go wasn't about abandonment but about freeing herself for new growth. 4. Number 11, a spark of intuition. As Halloween approached, the book introduced her to the number 11, representing intuition and a deeper connection to her inner voice. The book warned her to be especially vigilant, to trust her instincts without second-guessing. One evening, Ellie was invited to a Halloween gathering at her friend Sarah's apartment. She almost didn't go, feeling a strange sense of foreboding. Yet she pushed aside the feeling, reasoning that it was merely nerves. But the number 11 seemed to be everywhere, on her phone screen, her receipts, even her ticket stub. At the party, the uneasy feeling intensified. She noticed a man across the room who seemed to be watching her a bit too closely. Ellie felt an urge to leave, but she hesitated, worried she'd seem paranoid. Finally, she remembered the book's warning about the number 11. She decided to trust her gut and excused herself, leaving the party early. Later that night, she heard from Sarah that the man had caused a scene and had been escorted out. Ellie shivered, grateful she'd listened to her intuition. The number 11 had protected her. 5. Number 13, a symbol of transformation. The last number in the book was 13, a number often associated with bad luck but, as the book clarified, actually represented transformation and rebirth. For Ellie, 13 symbolized a shift, a readiness to embrace change. On October 31st, she woke up feeling different, as if the month had prepared her for something new. As she walked through her apartment, she saw her newly bought canvas and paints sitting untouched. Today, she would start again, returning to her art. She spent hours painting, losing herself in color and creativity. As the sun set, her painting was complete. It depicted an autumn tree, its leaves falling in brilliant hues, yet at its roots, new sprouts were growing. A knock at her door interrupted her work. She opened it to find a package. Inside was a small, framed print of her favorite painting by an artist she admired, a surprise gift from a friend. She flipped it over, and written on the back was a short message: "For those who seek, new paths will always appear." Ellie laughed, feeling a sense of joy and clarity she hadn't experienced in a long time. Each number had guided her through October's end, helping her let go of the past, embrace her dreams, and trust herself. These fortunate numbers had reshaped her life in unexpected ways. Epilogue: as she put the little book back on her shelf, Ellie felt a new confidence. She no longer saw numbers as random or superstitious. Each number held a lesson, a guide for navigating life's twists and turns. With these 5 fortunate numbers, she had found a new beginning, ready to face whatever the future held.